Under the bright stage lights, where dreams are either made or broken, a quiet teenage girl once stood with fear clearly written on her face. Her hands were shaking, her voice was soft, and her eyes avoided contact with the crowd. At first glance, she looked like someone who might forget her lines or walk off stage. But inside her, something powerful was waiting to come out. That girl was Courtney Hadwin. Before the world knew her name, she was just a shy child growing up in a small town in England. She was not loud, not outgoing, and not the kind of child who would easily stand in front of others. She preferred to stay in her own space, often singing quietly when she thought no one was listening. Music was her comfort zone. It was the one place where she could be herself without fear. While other kids were busy playing outside, Courtney was discovering music legends through old records at home. These voices inspired her deeply. She didn't try to sound perfect. Instead, she connected with the emotion in the songs. That connection slowly built her unique style. Even though she was shy in school and avoided attention, inside her room, she imagined herself as a performer. She would sing in front of the mirror as if she was on a big stage. At that time, no one could guess that this quiet girl would soon shock the entire world. Her journey was not just about talent. It was about finding courage in moments of fear and learning how to express something that was always inside her. This is where her story truly begins, not on a stage, but in silence, in small moments, and in the quiet growth of something extraordinary. As Courtney grew older, her connection with music became stronger. Her parents slowly began to notice that her singing was different. It was not just a hobby. It was something deeper. One day, they heard her singing from another room, and they were surprised by how powerful her voice sounded. It did not feel like the voice of a young child. It had depth, emotion, and a kind of raw energy that is very rare. Inspired by artists like Janis Joplin and Aretha Franklin, Courtney developed a style that was bold and full of feeling. She was not trying to copy them, but their influence helped her understand how to express emotion through music. At school, however, things were very different. She was still shy and quiet. Many people did not know about her talent. She did not perform often, and she avoided situations where she would be the center of attention. This created a strong contrast between her real personality and her musical identity. It was almost like she had two sides. One side was silent and reserved, while the other was loud and fearless. This difference made her journey more difficult. She had to overcome her fear of being seen and judged. Her family supported her, but stepping into the spotlight was still a big challenge. Slowly, she started taking small steps. She performed in local events and talent shows. Each performance helped her gain a little more confidence. Even though she was still nervous, she learned how to control that fear and turn it into energy. This phase of her life was very important because it shaped who she would become later. It taught her that fear does not have to stop you. Sometimes, it can push you forward. And for Courtney, that push was leading her toward one of the biggest stages in the world. In 2018, Courtney Hadwin took a step that would change her life forever. At just 13 years old, she walked onto the stage of America's Got Talent, one of the most popular talent shows in the world. The stage was huge, the audience was massive, and the judges were watching closely. Among them was Simon Cowell, known for his tough opinions. As Courtney stood there, she looked extremely nervous. Her voice was quiet when she spoke, and it seemed like she might not be ready for such a big moment. The audience did not expect much. But everything changed the moment the music started. She began singing Hard to Handle, a song originally by Otis Redding. Suddenly, the shy girl disappeared. What appeared instead was a completely different person. Her voice became powerful, her movements became energetic, and her confidence filled the stage. It shocked everyone. The audience was amazed, and the judges could not believe what they were seeing. It felt like watching a transformation happen in real time. Her performance was not just good, it was unforgettable. The energy, the emotion, and the raw power in her voice made it clear that she was special. At that moment, Howie Mandel pressed the golden buzzer, sending her directly to the live shows. Confetti fell from above, and the audience stood up in applause. In just a few minutes, Courtney Hadwin went from being unknown to becoming a global sensation. Videos of her performance spread quickly online, and millions of people watched her transformation. It was a moment that changed everything, but it was also the beginning of a new kind of pressure. After her unforgettable performance, Courtney's life changed very quickly. She became famous almost overnight. People from all over the world started talking about her. Her videos were shared on social media, and she gained a huge number of fans in a very short time. This kind of sudden fame can be exciting, but it can also be very overwhelming, especially for someone so young. Courtney was still a teenager trying to understand herself, and now she had millions of people watching her every move. Interviews, performances, and public appearances became a regular part of her life. While many people saw her as confident and powerful on stage, they did not see the pressure she was feeling behind the scenes. Being in the public eye is not easy. Every performance is judged, every mistake is noticed, and expectations keep growing. For someone who was naturally shy, this was a big challenge. She had to learn how to handle attention, criticism, and stress all at once. Even though she continued to perform well, the pressure of maintaining success was always there. People expected her to deliver the same level of energy and impact every time. This created a situation where she had to constantly prove herself. Fame can sometimes take away the simple joy of doing something you love. Instead of singing just for herself, she now had to think about the audience, the judges, and the public opinion. This shift can be very difficult, especially for a young artist. Courtney's journey shows that success is not always easy. Behind the applause, there can be struggles that people do not see today. As time went on, the excitement of fame started to mix with emotional challenges. Being constantly in the spotlight can affect a person's mental and emotional health. For Courtney, this was especially true because she was still growing and learning about herself. The pressure to perform, the fear of failure, and the attention from the public created a difficult situation. She had to balance her personal life with her career, which is not easy at a young age. There were moments when she seemed to step back from the spotlight. This made some fans wonder what was happening. The truth is that many young artists go through similar experiences. They need time to rest, to grow, and to understand their path. Courtney's journey was not just about success. It was also about learning how to deal with challenges. Emotional strength is just as important as talent. While she continued to work on her music, she also needed space to find balance in her life. This part of her story is important because it shows that even the most talented people face struggles. It reminds us that behind every performance, there is a human being with feelings, fears, and dreams. Courtney's story is not just about a powerful voice. It is about resilience, growth, and the courage to keep going even when things are difficult. Today, Courtney Hadwin's journey continues to inspire people around the world. Her story is not just about a girl who became famous. It is about someone who faced her fears, embraced her talent, and learned how to grow through challenges. She showed that being different is not a weakness. In fact, it can be your greatest strength. Her unique voice and style set her apart, and her courage helped her share it with the world. Even though she faced pressure and emotional struggles, she did not give up. She kept moving forward, learning from each experience. Her story teaches us that success is not just about reaching the top. It is about staying strong, being true to yourself, and finding balance in life. Many people see the final result, but they do not see the journey behind it. Courtney's journey reminds us that every success story has moments of doubt, fear, and struggle. But those moments do not define us. What defines us is how we respond to them. Her story is a powerful example of how talent and courage can come together to create something truly special. And even though her journey is still ongoing, one thing is clear. Courtney Hadwin is not just a talented singer. She is a symbol of strength, growth, and hope for anyone who has ever been afraid to show who they really are. After the excitement of America's Got Talent began to fade, Courtney Hadwin entered a very different phase of her life. The loud cheers, bright lights, and constant attention slowly became quieter, and what remained was the reality of building a long-term career. For many young performers, this is one of the hardest parts. It is easy to become famous for a moment, But staying relevant and growing as an artist takes time, patience, and emotional strength. Courtney was no longer just the shy girl who shocked the world. Now, people expected her to prove that she was more than just one performance. This kind of pressure can be very heavy, especially for someone who is still discovering who they are. She began working on her own music, trying to create songs that truly represented her voice and feelings. This process is not easy. It requires creativity, confidence, and the ability to accept criticism. While fans were excited to hear new music, the expectations were very high. Every release was compared to her first viral performance. Some people loved her work, while others felt it was different from what they expected. This is a common challenge for artists who rise to fame quickly. The image that made them famous can sometimes become a limitation. Courtney had to find a way to grow without losing what made her special. At the same time, she was dealing with personal changes. Growing up in the public eye means that even your personal growth becomes part of your story. She needed space to mature, to make mistakes, and to learn without constant judgment. There were moments when she stepped back from the spotlight, choosing to focus on herself rather than public attention. Some people misunderstood this and thought she had disappeared, but in reality, she was simply taking time to grow. This part of her journey is very important because it shows that success is not always loud. Sometimes it happens quietly, away from the cameras. Courtney's story reminds us that behind every famous moment, there are many unseen struggles. It also shows that taking a step back is not a sign of failure. It is often a sign of strength and self-awareness. She was learning how to build a life, not just a career. Becoming famous at a young age can feel like a dream, but it also comes with challenges that many people do not fully understand. When Courtney Hadwin became known around the world, she was still just a teenager. Most people at that age are focused on school, friends, and simple daily life. But for her, life became very different. She had to deal with interviews, performances, travel, and public attention. While this may seem exciting, it can also be overwhelming. There is very little privacy, and every action can be judged by millions of people. Social media adds another layer of pressure. Comments, opinions, and criticism are always present, and not all of them are kind. For a young person, this can affect confidence and emotional health. Courtney had to learn how to handle both praise and negativity at the same time. This is not something that comes naturally. It takes time and experience. Another challenge is maintaining a sense of normal life. Simple things like spending time with family or friends can become difficult when your schedule is full and your life is public. Courtney's story highlights the importance of support during these times. Family plays a very important role in helping young artists stay grounded. They provide a sense of normalcy and remind them of who they are beyond their public image. It is also important to understand that growth takes time. Just because someone becomes famous quickly does not mean they have everything figured out. Courtney was learning and growing just like anyone else her age, but she was doing it in front of the world. This made her journey more complex. Her story teaches us that fame is not just about success and attention. It is also about responsibility, pressure, and emotional balance. Understanding this helps us see her not just as a performer, but as a young person navigating a very unique and challenging path. As time moved forward, Courtney Hadwin began to slowly find her own path again. After experiencing the highs of fame and the quiet struggles that followed, she started focusing more on who she wanted to be as an artist, not just who the world expected her to be. This is a very important step for any performer, especially someone who became famous at a young age. In the beginning, people often try to fit into an image that others create for them. But real growth happens when a person starts making their own choices. Courtney began working on new music that reflected her personality and emotions. Instead of trying to repeat the same style that made her famous on America's Got Talent, she explored different sounds and ideas. This showed her willingness to grow and take risks. Growth is not always easy, and it often comes with uncertainty. Some fans may not immediately understand the changes, but change is necessary for long-term success. During this time, Courtney also seemed more comfortable with herself. She was no longer just the nervous girl standing on stage for the first time. She had experienced success, pressure, and challenges, and these experiences helped her become stronger. Confidence is not something that appears overnight. It is built through time, experience, and learning from mistakes. Courtney's journey reflects this process clearly. She learned how to handle expectations and how to stay focused on her passion for music. Instead of letting fear control her, she started using it as motivation. This is a powerful lesson for anyone who is trying to achieve something in life. Fear does not have to stop you. It can push you to grow. Courtney's story shows that success is not just about one big moment. It is about what you do after that moment. It is about continuing to move forward, even when things are uncertain. By choosing to stay true to herself, she began to rebuild her confidence and create a path that was truly her own. The story of Courtney Hadwin is not just about music or fame. It is about courage, identity, and the journey of growing into who you are meant to be. From a shy girl who avoided eye contact to a performer who amazed millions on America's Got Talent, her journey is full of powerful lessons. One of the most important lessons is that being different is not something to hide. It is something to embrace. Courtney did not fit the typical image of a young pop singer. Her voice was raw, her style was unique, and her